Good morning, and thank you first of all to Energy North for inviting me to along to speak today, and thank you all for being an attentive audience. Yes, thanks for the introduction, Ewan. My name is Gavin Mackay. I work in the energy team at Highlands Islands Enterprise, who, along with Scottish Enterprise, are the Scottish Government's economic development agencies for Scotland. And our sister agency, Scottish Development International, is our international arm, of making up the suite of economic development agencies. I'm going to take some time this morning to give an overview of Scotland's smart grid strategy and action plan. But before I kick off on that, I just thought I would I mention something from Frank's presentation around the polls and how it's one solution, but different issues. So in Australia, it's woodpeckers. In here, I don't doubt it's an excess of moisture. But yeah, for our international visitors, you have hit it in a good spell of weather. I hope it lasts. Maybe you did bring it with you, but yeah, it's just interesting to note that different issues, one solution, and I think that I will possibly play quite well into the well into the strands of the smart grid strategy. So Ewan mentioned three objectives and three grand challenges for Scotland, and those are all really addressed initially. Focused initially at identifying and addressing issues towards us achieving our targets and developing the supply chain domestically. But then it feeds in quite well once you've developed the solutions in this location to feeding into an international market then. And it's a substantial goal. We're looking at in the region of a £24 billion global to 2020. And Europe alone is making up about half of that. So there's a big goal for our companies if we can work towards delivering solutions here first and then exporting those. And we already heard from Frank how SSEPD have been working on active network management, for example, in Orkney since 2004, and those concepts and ideas and learning are being essentially exported to other sub-regions within the UK. So that's an example of it happening already. I won't talk too much more about the strategy because you and I already spoke about the key objectives and the grand challenges, but I'll maybe home in now more on the action plan and what that seeks to try and deliver on behalf of Scotland. We've identified over 150 companies with the capabilities to, or who are actively working in smart grids at the moment. And we also have a range of world-class academic institutions who are leading work in this area. And the key opportunities that we've identified through the action plan, which we're looking to home in on, are the new business models for supplying electricity and additional services. Nine's playing a key role in that. Customer energy management, data acquisition and monitoring and analysis, network optimization and automation, high voltage DC, not a new technology but new to the UK, and if we're going to develop a capability here, then we need to invest in some of the research and application of DC. Otherwise, what we'll have is just essentially a product that's parachuted in, and with very little learning or content coming from Scotland or the UK. And then the final area is energy storage, but all of these areas, they cover a wide range of interlinked technical and commercial areas, mainly in power engineering and ICT. And the trick is going to be in pulling them all together. So some of the activity that HI, SE, SDI are doing to support this activity is around these key strands. So around encouraging innovation, we've done innovation funding calls in partnership with the Energy Innovation Centre, the Energy Technology Partnership, and of course SE and HI. Final partner to mention in there's the Scottish Funding Council. So we've done 2 innovation calls. The third call is due to launch next month, and it's around integration of variable renewables. There will be links to the website to get more information on these. And myself and colleagues from Scottish Enterprise are around today to answer questions on the innovation funding call. We've also done activity around supporting the supply chain understand where the opportunities are in the development of smart grids. We did a series of workshops working with Smarter Grid Solutions at the tail end of 2014, and we're going to do 3 more workshops this year in March and April, the first of which is the 5th of March in Glasgow. Again, links and information to those events later in the presentation. And we're also working on various other strands there around raising awareness of capabilities and supporting our businesses to directly to develop smart grid solutions. I'll touch on the internationalisation strand, although I think to a large extent I've kind of outlined what the global market is, what the prize is to 2020, and I think it's a prize worth working for. I would say that currently we're in a relatively strong position in that Scotland has really defined itself as a commercial testbed for smart grid technology, so driven by necessity, in that we've got a big renewables target and a supportive policy environment. We have lots of renewables resource, but we've got a very highly constrained grid. So companies like SSE, PD and Scottish Power Networks have been developing active network management and other smart grid solutions to try and, I guess, sweat the assets to deliver value for their customers and consumers. And in doing that, they're creating knowledge, learning, understanding, technology that becomes exportable. I didn't catch the gentleman's name with the hydro scheme in Fort William, but the other kind of strand to this, coming down maybe a level below the network operators, is the individual schemes and communities where it just isn't economic to invest in a traditional grid upgrade. So we've got Local Energy Challenge Fund, we've got Innovation Infrastructure Fund, these funding routes available for communities to investigate how they create local energy economies, and we'll hear more on that from our speakers this afternoon, from HIE and from Community Energy Scotland. So I'd encourage you to hang around for that. But what it does do is it highlights that through necessity we're developing knowledge and expertise here that has a massive global potential outreach. And how do we do the internationalisation piece? It's through Scottish Development International. They've got 2 basic functions. One is to support our companies engage in international trade to export, and the other element is to, where appropriate, attract foreign direct investment where there are either gaps in our supply chain or where it complements our existing supply chain. Just a quick example of one of Scotland's success stories, Smarter Grid Solutions, originally a spin out from Strathclyde University back in 2008, and I've just given a bit of a timeline there of the progress they've made through developing smart grid solutions. Originally working to support the Orkney Active Network Management Scheme, but then going on to do an awful lot more than that, and established their first office in North America last year, tail end of last year. So one of Scotland's success stories, and hopefully we'll see many more of those. Today's event is an ERANET programme. Ewan mentioned a couple of other European schemes, and it's there's a little bit more information here. First one there is ERANET, and the Scottish European Green Energy Centre, a part of Scottish Enterprise, are heavily involved in this programme and actively looking for Scottish businesses to participate in the up to €40 million smart grid scheme. I haven't put an email address on here, but I'll hopefully be able to circulate that through Energy North for a contact person for ERANET. But myself and colleagues from Scottish Enterprise and SDI are here today to answer questions on it. And the other one there is a North Sea project, so focused on the North Sea countries, and again actively looking for Scottish companies to participate in this bid. So it's a very active area in funding terms across Europe, and that's I guess supported by the expected size of the market to 2020. I'm going to mention as well the PNDC, the Power Networks Delivery Centre in Cumbernauld. It's a joint venture between the network operators in Scotland, so Scottish Power and SSE Power Distribution, Scottish Funding Council, and University of Strathclyde, and of course Scottish Enterprise. And the centre is a real asset to Scotland because it enables the testing and demonstration of new technologies, ideas, principles before they're applied on the Scottish network. And excuse me again, the Scottish network is I'll just reiterate, a high quality testbed for smart grid technologies, really driven by necessity, driven by the fact that we've got a lot of renewables and high grid constraints. But everything needs to be done on commercial terms. It needs to work for the consumers. So by making it work here first, we hope to be able to export that knowledge and expertise. And there's a fairly quite an exciting announcement around PNDC, is that we hope to attract, or has recently attracted Ofgem funding to look at the application of high voltage DC to Scotland's networks, or to the UK networks. There's an awful lot of HVDC happening or planned on and around Scotland, and some of it is quite novel stuff. So we hope to be able to capture some of that research and application activity, and capture more of the value of the implementation of HVDC across Scotland and the UK and Europe. And just finally, a reminder about the next smart grid supply chain events that we're doing. So the next one is on 5th of March in Glasgow. Innovation and support is the theme. We're following that up with microgrids at the PNDC in April. I'd encourage you to get along to see that facility. It's really quite impressive. And a Tier 1 district network operator, Meet the Buyer event again in April. And contact details there for my colleague in Scottish Enterprise who is running those events. So I'll thank you very much for your time this morning.